Hey guys, Cookie here. Big news coming out of Palworld just happened. Palworld has had their first major patch really since release. I know they've had a lot of hot fixes and little patches here and there, but this is the first patch that's big enough that it actually has a fully typed out patch notes. I'm going to read it here for you in just a second. Here on 20 Plays Games, try to get you this kind of information as soon as possible. I've read over it a little bit so far, but even this is still a little bit new to me, so I'm going to jump through all this stuff with you guys as we go. So without further ado, let's jump on in. Starting things off, we have... well, basically at the very top, this is probably the first thing that we should go over, is the fact that this is for the Steam and the Xbox version, so it isn't a patch that's just for one or the other. Both of the versions are going to be getting this patch. The only difference is it says right at the top that the Steam version has already been released, and as of me recording this, it is available. The Xbox version is not yet available, but you know, it might be by the time this video goes up. At least at the moment of me recording this, the Xbox version is not up yet. So let's jump into the patch notes themselves. First off, major fixes. So it says it fixed an issue where the game would crash under certain conditions. Not very specific, but obviously that's a big deal. It's been, you know, in any kind of early access game, there's going to be a lot of crashes that tend to happen. Obviously, you know, the developers want that to happen as little as possible. So anytime they're fixing any of those issues where things would crash, that's a big deal. I know Xbox has had more issues with crashes than Steam, so I wonder if this will be an even bigger effect for Xbox players than it will for people that play it on Steam. But either way, always good to fix those kind of issues, obviously. Also says it fixed an issue where if another player's PAL or a base PAL had HP 30% or less, it could be captured by using a sphere. That would be incredibly annoying and especially bad once they get into PvP kind of stuff. Fix an issue where enemy pals would get stuck in walls due to charge attacks. This could mean a couple of different things. I assume this, because it says enemy pals, it's probably not talking about the Syndicate or any of like the Fire Brotherhood or any of the, you know, AI humans that you kind of can make pals. I assume they're talking about the creature pals, and that probably has to do with when they attack during raids or maybe out in the wild. All right, so the next thing to talk about, it's in all bold here. Implemented the first fix for an issue where the game would always crash and save data would be corrupted when the guild's total number of pals captured reached around 7,000. So the idea of capturing 7,000 pals in a guild seems pretty incredible to me, so congratulations to whoever did that. They managed to crash their game, but if you do want to do something crazy like that and capture 7,000 pals in your guild, then you're fine to do that now because they have fixed that. And of course, any situation where a game crashes and save data gets corrupted is always a big deal, so they've got that covered as well. A couple other fixes for crashes, never a bad thing. However, save data that has already been in this state, in the case of the server's world data prior to this update will still be unable to load. We're continuing to work on fixing this issue permanently, so if you had already gotten screwed by that, it looks like there's not a whole lot that you'll be able to accomplish in that situation. So obviously that's a bummer, but at least it looks like that won't happen moving forward. It talks about key configuration here. Says added support for mouse side keys and numeric keypad in keyboard key configuration, and further improvements are currently planned, such as support for interact key configuration. Important for anybody that wants to just, you know, have a little more flexibility with the controls and how they play. So they added a little bit of stuff there. Now jumping into the player issues. First off, says fixed an issue where players on dedicated servers and co-op were receiving damage twice. I don't think this is an issue that I remember having, but obviously I guess it's one of those issues that you wouldn't know you had it and just suddenly die. So obviously receiving damage twice, definitely not something you want to have to deal with. Specifications have been changed so that you can move at extremely low speed even when you have exceeded the weight limit. That's outstanding. I love that. This basically just has to do with getting encumbered. So if you, one of the big issues, at least I have personally in Palworld, is I try to get iron because it's hard to get, but iron's extremely heavy and you easily can exceed your weight limit. And in a lot of cases you get stuck, or in other cases where maybe you break something down and you get stuck, or you pick up a lot of logs or stone at the same time and get stuck. In any of these situations, it sounds like they are allowing you to still be able to move even at a very low speed. Players will no longer pass through walls when dismounting. I could definitely see how that would happen, even though I usually avoid walls for this very reason, but that's always cool. Don't need extra glitches. Fix an issue where capture power strengthened by Liftmonk effigies was reset when using memory reset drugs. Did not know that was a possibility, but definitely a fix that you want to have, because that would be extremely annoying. Fix an issue where armor could be equipped in the wrong slot. I think I have done that before, so that's nice. Little quality of life change right there. Adjusted camera positions of several pals to make it easier to see when mounted. That is interesting, especially with the bigger pals, and especially if you get into bosses. I don't think the Jetragon necessarily had it, but I think the Shadowbeak did, and the Phalaris and some of those other really big pals. I think that they were very hard to, or you just didn't get a great scope of the whole area because you would just see the back of the head of the pal instead of everything else. And I'm sure that happens with non-flying riding pals too. So yeah, this is an interesting change. Quality of life, make things better. These are the ones that I'm probably most excited to see, is the base issues. I've looked through some of these, and some of these are really, really big. So first off, specifications have been changed so the pals who are manually assigned to a breeding farm will not become hungry, and their manual assignments will not be removed. Breeding farms are pretty glitchy at this point. And the fact that they won't become hungry when they're in the breeding farm is cool, and that's nice. Either way, the breeding farms definitely need some fix, so that's probably good. The key to lift pals has been changed from F to V, or on pad X to Y, in order to prevent accidents. So this is actually a very big thing that I didn't even realize when I first read this. But basically what it's talking about is, you know, around the base, when you lift pals and take them somewhere else, they're changing the key for that, because that key is used for all kinds of other things. So when you go to lift the pal, you could easily activate 100 other things, but I'm pretty sure that's the button to like open chests and open like feed boxes and stuff. So if you're close to any of those things, you're going to end up doing that instead. I think it's also the button for watering and planting, and it's just too many things, and the pals are always scattered all over the place. So there's a very good chance if you press X for the Xbox to pick one of them up, you're very likely to do something else that you didn't want to do. So that's actually a very, very big change that they needed to make. Reduce the speed and range of fire spreading on wooden buildings. I've heard about this a lot. I've heard a lot of people complain about this being a major problem for them. I personally didn't have this problem, but I've heard that when a fire gets started on a wooden building, it just is gone, like instantly. So it looks like that has been reduced a lot. So hopefully that will cause a lot less of that problem to happen for people. Fixed an issue where manual work assignments could not be set at all under certain circumstances. This is one of the biggest ones in the entire patch notes for me, because I'm sure if you've played this game for a decent amount of time, you have tried to manually assign pals to certain things, and it just says no, no, no over and over again under certain circumstances, and there's no way to really know why or how or what you should do. So this is really, really big. If you can actually get pals to do exactly what you want them to do at the base, that would make things so much smoother and so much more fun. I'm really glad to hear that they fixed that. Fixed an issue where extremely high level Relaxaurus would attack the base during raids. Never heard of this problem, but that sounds horrifying. It would probably completely wreck your base very easily. So yeah, that's an issue that needs to be fixed. Added several measures to prevent base pals from getting stuck. This is another very, very big one. They're not very specific on this one, just said several measures. So hopefully, I mean, if you've played the game at all, you know that this happens all the time. Base pals get confused. They don't know where to go. They get stuck in place. A lot of times they'll all be shuffled together in one spot and won't move. So there's a lot of different ways that could be a big deal. So I hope that's as good as it sounds like it is. Fix an issue where pals would get stuck while transporting items and would drop them on the spot. This happened to me all the time at the base too. Pals would go around carrying whatever, and there'd just be bags and random stone and random iron and random wood and wool and stuff all over the place for no apparent reason. It's just because pals got stuck while transporting and would drop them. So the fact that they fixed that, that's a really big deal too. Fix an issue where pals at the base would continue to cut down trees that were already cut. Fix an issue where pals at the base were on the verge of death due to unexplained falling damage. I've never heard of that, but again, good fix. Glad to hear it. Fix an issue where pals at the base would float under some conditions. I think I have seen that one before. That's just, you know, your run-of-the-mill glitch, but good to see it coming out. And also fixed an issue where if a farm was built on the second floor or above, work pals would be unable to move on the floors below. Okay. Another issue I didn't know was a thing. And then a couple other things here. Corrected incorrect text. Measures have been added to prevent cheating and stealing other players' pals. And many other minor fixes, such as the addition of a UI key guide. And they go on to say, we will continue development, placing top priority on fixing major problems and issues. Thank you for your continued support of Palworld. All right, guys. So there you go. There's the whole patch notes. Overall, very exciting. I love to see it. I was wondering when they were going to have a big patch like this, because they've had a lot of little ones to this point, and this is great to see. This is the kind of stuff that keeps these games going and keeps them being really popular for a long time. So I'm excited, and I'm glad that this happened. Hope you guys got everything you wanted out of this news update. Make sure to subscribe if you guys would. It would really help a lot. And of course, every time that you hit the bell for notifications and get a notification for this channel, you can continue to get more updates like this one for Palworld news that you gotta know. Hit the like button for us. It really helps a lot as well. And thank you so much, guys, for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. So goodbye for now.